involved in this process.
No.
And I guess my other concern is, I mean, we've gone out and talked to people without it actually coming to council first for us to say, yeah, this is the direction. The mandate says, doesn't give a number. It was discussed, but in the actual mandate it was 9. So, you know, in my old way of doing things, I would have thought that would have come back to us and we'd have talked about it and then said, okay, fine, go ahead and direct the clerk to go ahead and issue the letters, and on we go, and the committee is formed, and Bob's your uncle.
Kind of a gun, eh?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
sort of
So
like babies in blue.
not really, no. I guess, so I do have some concerns with process here. I'd like to see these things come back to council, discussed here, and then we as a council, direct the clerk, send the letters, do the thing, and away we go, and we've got a committee, and it's great. I do have a concern with that. I believe that these two folks, because 2 applications anyway, I believe these 2 gentlemen should be voting members. They are long-standing members in this community, have contributed all kinds of things over the years. I think to exclude them as voting members is a slap in the face. And that, my opinion,
Your motion is for the recommendation, but
I'm supporting the recommendation, just with the proviso that these 2 gentlemen be included as voting members in the process. Simple as that. That's my motion.
I will add that on the Friday morning I went to schlep with the acting mayor, and I discussed what we had done, and I showed her the list. So I didn't really feel that we were slapping anybody in the face. The person that was here, I told her about it so that she was aware that the process had been done. The other thing that I felt that had happened when council directed us to do that was because we had been approximately 4 to 6 months after the strategic meeting and had been waiting to get this committee going, and because I'm a super exciting, exuberant person and like to get things done, I didn't think that there was any hold on the objection of going ahead and doing this. So.
Yeah, we didn't intend to slap anybody in the face. Now, it was my understanding that once that you directed 2 councillors to be going out and looking for people, the mayor's a member of every single committee. It doesn't mean he's chairing every single committee, it means he's a member of every single committee. Same thing goes with all the rest. Now, I understand that the ad hoc committee was a bit of a problem, and you came back and you asked council to decide who was going to be on the committee, because 2 people who were directed to do it couldn't decide, right? So we went through this process.
2 on that committee, there was 3 on this.
Well, all right, but I mean, it wasn't meant to be a slap in the face, but if you want to do it that way, it just adds an extra month to everything. If you want to do that, I can understand that's why we're in the situation we're in.
And I guess maybe part of it too is just that our collective misunderstanding sometimes of our protocols and what are they, because I guess it has been my experience always that something like this comes back to council as a whole, we review it, we approve it, it goes through the clerk, and away we go. So I guess that's where I'm coming from, so that's why I'm making the statements that I am. That's all. Yeah.
And I think the other thing too is we wanted them on the committee, but at that point we thought we could have 9. And so we were selecting 9 people, and then we talked about how we could bring them back in. We actually had gone out and we had talked to Roberta a little bit, and she suggested that we were maybe missing the boat. So we went back in and rethought it and came up with the fact that, okay, let's have them at every committee, and then they can do what they do best. And we weren't excluding anybody.
Bottom line, if this council feels that it's they should be full voting members, I don't know how that's going to affect what they do for this whole thing. It's a different mandate than what we can use. They can do what they're going to do anyway. That's fine by me. Really?
I guess you're concerned that because they're on this committee, they couldn't operate with the chamber or the BIA the same way they would?
Well, given the past history of this council, you do anything that steps a little bit outside of the norm or the status quo from what you used to see, hell is to pay. to the mandate. And if they weren't voting members and they could do whatever they wanted, they could represent their organizations, yet take what they wanted out of it and do things on the side without having to go through our committee process of coming back with the reports and stuff, which is in November, is it? Or no, last week,
November, so.
October, November, right? So it just
So
sped things up. If they found something, I thought that would be easier.
Deputy Mayor Dagnan, Councilor Russell.
Yeah, I just think it's really unfortunate that the analogy that someone's being slapped in the face is interjected into this, when we could have just assumed the best interest of the people that were making the decisions. And obviously, as they've been explained now, it doesn't make sense why they did what they did. And if the chamber and the BIA are willing to have their hands tied, because it's true that if that great idea comes up that they have the power to implement, they won't be able to implement it. And if they're content with that,
Why not?
because they can't, because there's a process to go through, have to be approved by council, there'll have to be commitments and other technicalities that have to go through, because you're part of the committee. And if they're okay with that, that's fine. But it may mean they have to bide their time or wait things out, because it's now owned by the committee. It's not owned by the BIA or owned by the chamber. So it's a different, if that's fine with them, then that's acceptable.
Councilor Russell.
Call the vote. I agree with the motion. The co-chairs agree with it. I don't see what we're discussing
Right.
anymore. I think these are good people. All of them have put their names forward. Let's let them vote. They're
If you
good
want
people.
to, that's fine.
They're all good people. All good.
All in favor? Carried. Six point three, report number 56, applications to the Committee of Adjustment for information. Councilor Russell, see file. Councilor Cook, all in favor of that? Carried. Changes to the zoning bylaw 1 of 2003, report 57.
Okay.
Second reading.
Yeah, sure. I will move the recommendations that these amendments be made to the zoning bylaw as recommended by the Committee of Adjustments with regards to attached accessories.
Councilor Russell.
I'll second that with an amendment, that we don't make instruction to pass it, because it's for the report for the planner to be able to, maybe, I'll just stop there, maybe through you to Patty to help on that.
Patty, can you explain?
But just, how does it structurally happen?
Council has to go through the proper process to amend their zoning bylaw, which is public hearing and a report from the planner. I think what council should be instructing, just go back and go through the public process as appropriate for amendments to the zoning bylaw, and we'll schedule it as a municipally initiated zoning bylaw amendment, and council can make a decision publicly after we go through the proper process.
No other? Okay. All in favor of that? Carried. Clerk's report, 6.32, this is the provincial offences officers. This is a recommendation, Councilor Illman, seconded by Councilor Underwood. The list is there, and we're ready for the long weekend. All in favor of that? Carried.
Can we tie all these?
Bylaws. Is there anything we didn't do?
Anything, let's just
Bylaws.
I move that we approved 7.1 through 7.16.
You don't want me to read it?
We've gone through them.
Okay. Anyway, motion to give 3 readings to all those bylaws, except the ones that we only have to use. One that would give the goose marsh drain as the first reading,